Hey there, travelers, yada, yada, yada. I think it's just you and me right now, Christina. I don't know. I definitely could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But I think it might just be you and I, Christina. Which is a nice, calm start. Yeah, we're not playing that song yet. So fuck off. How was your yesterday? Cause let's see. Yeah, all right. In fact, I'm just gonna turn the music down. I'm gonna let it roll. Oh, Lord. Man, yesterday was a fucking weird ass stream for me. Hey, there's L2. Yeah, yesterday was a weird stream. I sort of expected to be slow because of Thanksgiving and how people behave after they've had a full meal, and but no, it was busy, shit snapped off, I got yelled at. Yeah, it was even a bet came out of it, but we'll see where that ends up. Oh, so I have this sneaking suspicion that today is going to be the super quiet one. And for some reason yesterday, that I thought would be, turned out to be insane. But like I said, we'll see. So, let me get some headlines. So it looks like Mossad probably assassinated an Iranian nuclear scientist right outside Tehran. Probably CIA backed, but usually in that part of the world, reaching into Iran and conducting assassinations, especially of nuclear related scientists, that tends to be Mossad. They're the ones who have shown time and again that they're willing to go to those measures. So, Israel and the CIA looking to poke the bear a little more. Always a good idea. Let's see. Hey, Cat. I'm mildly predicting that today is going to be quiet. Based off of how wrong I was yesterday. But we'll see. The start of the show has definitely been chill as fuck. But Pennsylvania rejected the appeals case for Trump. In comes 40 chuds. I know, right? Jesus Christ. You cursed me, Cat. The Pennsylvania appeals court has rejected the Trump campaign's case, as everybody expected they would. They have no standing for the arguments that they're attempting to make. But yeah. Oh, did everybody see the small ass table and the Twitter hashtag that got Trump to I stayed off social. Hey, Temnes. Stayed off social all social yesterday. Yay me. It was an interesting show around these parts. Shit got weird. Just put it that way. But Trump lost. Womp womp. Not according to the Trump supporters. Try convincing them of that one. It is an interesting conversation to have. Go ahead and go over to Twitter sphere or r/conservative on Reddit. Take your pick. I mean, if you're a masochist, feel free to dip your toe into Parler, but I hope you have a fake ID ready. Yeah, it's what do you think happens to these folks when he croaks within a few years? On to the next cult of personality. I mean, that shit started ages ago and it's been going ever since, right? I mean, Reagan was the same way. he was another one of those. Look, they still idolize that dude. Hey, Panda. Yeah, they still idolize Reagan. So, I mean, just because Trump's dead, it'll make it even easier because he'll stop saying stupid shit, right? So now you can sort of, posthumously reference his greatness. Yeah. Oh, bit of a headache. No, I think tension. I think I've got some shoulder, neck tension shit. I'm okay, Panda. Thank you for asking. How about yourself while I answer your question? Didn't get food in me soon enough in my day. So I sort of was cramming food right before stream time. Like I finished eating at like 5:26, so I'm gonna be really kind of sedate for a while. Got the itis going. But yeah, had a package, a delivery that I was waiting on at like 10 a.m. today. Just go fucking missing. Like completely. The company said the courier. They said we can't even get a hold of the courier. Hey, Pastique. So don't know what happened there. I hope whoever it was is safe and sound. I'd prefer they have just stolen it rather than like fell off a cliff somewhere or some shit. Anytime. I'm good. I got my COVID test back and it's negative, and yikes. Good job. Do we have, yeah, why not? A little applause for you. I had a great topic to talk about with you, but I talked with other persons and I forgot. Either it'll come back to you or it won't, Pastique, but I appreciate the thought nonetheless. Yeah, I'm making the, anyway, the Supreme Court needs to state if immigrants are people. That's another topic. If migrants are people. That's the thing is, last I had seen, they're constitutionally recognized. I've seen previous rulings on this matter that the Constitution applies to whether you're a non-citizen or citizen. But, I mean, Supreme Court rulings can change with the wind, as it were. It seems prior case law and prior decisions aren't carrying the weight they used to these days. We'll see. Pretty fucked up to even talk about that topic. Oh, I know. But, in a realm where the doctrine of discovery was an issue, not like USA's ever signed the human rights, but oh no, we don't sign on to anything. That's long been our shtick, is we push other countries to sign treaties, but we don't sign on ourselves. Yeah, been a little con game we've been running for a while. This just in, conservatives don't actually give a fuck about the principles of classical liberalism this country was founded upon. Color me shocked, this cat. I know, right? That package gets stolen, they just say fuck it. I don't know, Panda. Like, cause the company doesn't know either. Like they'll, I tried calling the delivery person. They tried calling the delivery person, and just nothing. So I don't know. I have no clue. It was refunded. A new one was sent. There we go. Champion of democracy, fuck the human rights. Oh yeah, no, that's par for the course in this part of the world. You should know that by now, Pastique. We already sized that. Yeah, I suspect it probably just became somebody else's property, Panda. At least I hope so. I'd much prefer that, to think that somebody just got some free shit. They were noping out of their job, and they're just like, yeah, I'm going to take some free shit on the way out. I'd much rather have that happen than, like, hear in the news tomorrow that somebody, like, drove off a fucking freeway edge or something like that and ended up dead because of it. Yeah. Was it important? I mean, not life or death, right? No. grand scheme, no, it wasn't important. Fun topic. Do you consider sports people paid too much? Or as workers using the leverage the right way to get a fair wage regarding the money their image creates? Why not both? Why not column A and column B? Yeah, they get paid too much. But that's mostly market decision, right? The market is willing to pay them. So the people overvalue them. The marketplace overvalues them. They're getting theirs. I get that. I understand that. So, you know, I totally understand their side of it. Hello, Johnny. I completely understand their side of it. You know, they're going to get theirs, and the marketplace deems that they can. So why not? But, you know, I don't want... I don't know. All right. Cat, more people go to the Just Talking, but less people go into political streams that are listed as Just Talking. Except for the few biggies. I've noticed that amongst the lower ones. That the boys and girls and everything in between, they struggle to pull in like 20 people even over on Just Talking. Like, watch SJ, watch Lynx when they're not in politics. If you have a sub, if you are gifted a sub at any point, or whether you purchased a sub, Johnny, you get emotes. That's how it works. Let's see. Kai last night. Dude, that entire stream. Like, I mean, you guys, those... Hey, Tuna. I mean, for those of you that were here for it, witnessed it. Like, I was... Half the time, I was like this, and the other half, I wasn't even in the chair. Just noped right the fuck out. It was fucking hilarious. I was just too high to laugh. Didn't really... Tuna didn't really do much for it other than run a stream with a bunch of indigenous people on it. It was... Cam, how do I put this? It was... There was one individual who had a deficit of knowledge and a glut of confidence and a bit of a, yeah, I think that's probably the good go-to there, and a bit of a Karen attitude. And so it was interesting to say the least. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. Demian, yeah, a Karen man, not a caring man. No, it was a female. Tuna, it was a Karen. Yeah, click the YouTube link. It'll be $1.99. It's up. Or just yesterday's. A man version of a Karen is a Karen. Fair enough. And then Demian said, competition is the bane of humanity. Creativity and innovation don't necessitate competition. There's room for competition, but it's like most things, we've taken it too far. So I agree with you part of the way. Let's put it that way. I know there's a debate to call them a Ken or, but Karen should become an adjective. I'm okay with it. I think it can be unisex. I'm fine with that. But it was exactly gender neutral Karen. Yeah, it was it was nothing that I could deal with. due to, oh God, do I really want to get into this? Do I really want to explain this? Do I really want to talk about this? This is the question I have to ask myself right now. Let's just say I wasn't allowed much input for a very specific reason. Yeah, I don't care. Good for Contra, I guess. Actually, good for AOC to get Contra, because quite frankly, Contra is probably more internet famous than AOC at this point. Mixed bag, either way. Oh, Rabbit wasn't holding it down. Fucking Sue was holding it down. Dude, poor Rabbit was ready to choke a bitch out. Like, he was legit fed up. It was funny hearing that modulated tone of voice that you know is the sort of, I'm gonna just speak this way because if I don't speak this way, I'm going to yell. Smack a bitch up. Smack the bitch up. There you go. Firestarter. Yes. Yeah, he did leave before he got super yelly. And mad respect to him for doing it. But yeah, it wasn't Rabbit holding it down. It was fucking Sue. I kinda did too, Kat. I was in that territory with you. I think occasionally somebody needs to get told you're being a fucking asshole and to knock it the fuck off. And yeah, I mean, good on Sue for taking her on as a pet project. He's convinced he's gonna transform, and I sincerely hope he's successful, because I'd really prefer one less Karen running around. I really would. Meat was begging him to go back in. I know, I saw that at one point. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was special, and it wasn't something I was allowed to talk about for reasons that are interesting. Meat is truly chaotic neutral. He is. He really is. And so, you know, yeah, for multiple portions of it, I just checked out entirely. I went and did other stuff. I left it to Sue and Twin Rabbit. Two Rabbit. And left Kat in charge in case she went off the deep end again. Because if she transgressed the same way, if she continued transgressing the same way she transgressed initially, I wanted her off my air. Yeah, and I mean, there's an extent of it, like she got it out of her system to a certain extent. I thought you were gonna break your earbuds last night. They're fine. Where they hit the desk isn't actually hard. The opposite, Tam. Quite the opposite, actually. It was, you're not allowed to speak because. Yeah. And poor Rabbit trying to, keep in mind, Tam, Sue is indigenous, Kat is of mixed indigenous descent, Two Rabbit is indigenous as well, and she spoke down to them as well the entire time. Hey, Elle. I was cut off entirely because I was white. That's, I mean, her words, not mine. Yeah, it was... Yeah. It was special. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, then, I mean, there was two of them in comments, Panda, that were really fucking obnoxious. Pestique, like the guy last time who were talking about healthcare being worse to European people and literally knew nothing and kept posting documents that were contradictory to everything that he was arguing. He was less of a dickhead, though. Be perfectly honest. Yeah. Sue got her talked down off the ledge, but it took like an hour and a half. Legitimately. So, yeah. Yeah. So yesterday was a weird stream. Let's just put it that way. You can lose the up in that sentence, Pastique, to help you with some of your English syntax. You don't need the up. Thought I'd assist. All right, so let's do. I did a couple of headlines already. It's not necessarily. I mean, they are technically bracelets, right? But this one's a mala. Get around this side. This one's a mala. That was made for me. It's Never Say Never by Blind. And if you scroll up, it's the link's in chat. Hey, 2Rabbit, we were just sort of doing the decompression and rundown from yesterday. Yeah, this, they're both symbolic, for me, Chimp. Yeah. Yeah, Meat really wanted you to step back in, and there's a chaotic version of myself that most definitely wanted you to as well. But we'll see. So anyway, Chimp, the mala was made for me by a Tibetan monk who now lives in Hawaii, a guy by the name of Tenzin Norbu, and his wife, partner, I don't think they're formally married, made the pearl one for me, which is the white one. But they've come over the years to symbolize my own sort of belief system and my own ideals. So it's, while made by a Buddhist, it doesn't actually conform to 100% of the Buddhist standards for a mala. But there's your answer. Yes, Panda, it's a part of you. Exactly. And it's been restrung once. I just send it back to him. Say like, hey, can you restring it for me? He does. So that's that. I really want Meat to start streaming. I want to see that degen insanity. I think Meat would probably lose his job. He'd get kicked off a platform or lose his job. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure Meat could handle it for 6 hours. Love him to death, but I mean, I think he'd snap eventually. So fuck it, stream on DLive. Bitch shoot DLive. Let's just fucking bait this shit in. It would be funny. Pastique, I would handle a stream for 2 hours, not 3. Yeah, I've my longest I've ever done was on Podbean, and between multiple shows, 2 of my own, and then other podcasts being streamed, I hit a almost 12-hour day. I know Curio did a 24-hour stream recently, and it almost killed him. Though he did get a nap in, so not full 24 hours. But yeah, the most I'm willing to stretch these days is, I mean, I've hit 6.5. I think I've hit 7+ on Twitch before, but really somewhere between 3 and 6 is sort of where I try and keep it. Hey, moshing, I streamed for 40-ish hours once, but I'm crazy. And you're probably young. Back in the day, I could probably pull that, no problem, with assistance, shall we say. Oof, Cat, you may want to reconsider that, but you do you. You're still young. Hush, Kai, you're 24. I wish. I did a lot of radio show. If I have someone with me, I can stay for very long. Yeah. Oh, Pastique. That's the trick.
Alton8805 said warning warning.
Does this moron actually have his own profile picture in his profile? Holy shit. Give me one sec. I just need to do some reporting here. Let's see. And message link. I don't even know which one of those. It's, oh, I'm in streamer mode. I have to save that. There we go. Yeah, that one. Yeah. It's all auto blocked. There we go. L, love to hear them. One sec. There we go. And report trust and safety. All right, let me catch up now. Yeah, we're working on it. Working on it. All right. Cool. All right, anyway. So while I was dealing with Discord's trust and safety group, let me scroll back and see what I missed. The FM radio I helped create in France. Sometimes interview me on topics related to the country I'm living in. If you keep asking me questions, I'll go for hours. They had to edit the interview, but that was fun. Why is Antifa good? What have they done for the community? Yeah, D-Dyer, what you're not understanding is Antifa isn't an organization. That's the distinction that you're having trouble with early on in that conversation. I don't know if anybody rectified this further, but hey Cobbs. Sorry, just getting to that. Today I managed to give Dan Simpson a lot of links about Paris Commune and Corinthians democracy. It blew his mind. Good for you. We raided Dan one night. Yeah, seemed like a decent dude. Yeah, L, you let me know. And had to burn the Discord link. So everybody, anybody who knows the command, understand it's going to be dead for probably 24 hours. I'll do bespoke for this session. Actually, D-Dyer, 14 Characteristics of Eternal Fascism, or Fascism, by Umberto Eco. The United States currently checks all 14 boxes. So, yeah. Let's see. Hey, Thoughtful. Sorry, just catching up on chat here. Antifa's position state that fascism is the worst ideology in the world, and you want to reduce its spread. Fair enough. Sadly, Trump is a fascist. I mean, he's definitely proto-fascist, crypto-fascist sort of territory. Or just bad at it. Or just bad at it. We'll go with that. So, I mean, do I have to do the riot spiel? Property destruction has always coincided with progressive movements throughout all of history, including the revolution and founding of the United States of America. Destruction of private property, blah, blah, blah. Industrial shutdown, attacks on individuals and politicians. Founding the country, the labor revolution, the labor movements, 1880s to 1920s, women's suffrage movements, the civil rights movements, the LGBT movement started out of a riot. I mean, this is just the nature of the game. Blah, 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 blah. Belush, you lost. There's nothing you can do. Panda, I need a riot command. I don't think I'd have to have links. Maybe I'll write the spiel and have links take a look at it for me. Oh, fuck yeah, Brian made guitar solo. Love the name. I would have to have maybe have links take a look at it with their copy editing powers and see if we can't get it down to something that would fit in the 500 character limit. Yeah. Because you're right, I do fucking have to do that spiel quite a bit. I should write an article on that, actually. I think that'd be better. I think I'll write an essay on that one. What about them? That's weird. That's a weird question, Chimp. Thoughts on Jews? They're people, like you and me. All organized religion is a bit fucking strange in my opinion and probably destructive towards the overall progressive arc that humanity should be taking. But, I mean, that goes for Islam, Christianity. I've skimmed the Torah. But, I mean, it's too dense. Which ones? Apple Jews, cranberry Jews? Exactly. Hey, premarital. What's up? They're human beings who follow an Abrahamic religion. Yeah, I find all Abrahamic religions problematic. Wait, did I miss? I still believe Trump is simply an opportunist more than an ideological fascist, but there's ultimately no difference in consequence. Says Dak, and Pastique hit him with, oh, science doesn't care about your opinion on Trump being fascist or not. Okay, so that's what I meant. And so, yeah, no, it's, I mean, ticks the boxes, right? That's all we need. Yeah, exactly, L. Like, it's a weird question. Yeah. Let's just say there's been a fair amount of backsliding continuously on that regard. That's some weird calculus. Right? Some weird fucking question. Oh, by the way, I don't think Satan is evil. I don't think Satan's evil. Look, from what I understand from the biblical text, and forgive me, I'm only an ordained pastor. From what I understand from the biblical text, Satan just wanted what humans had. Free will, choice, decision, self-agency, and claimed it for himself and his compatriots and his comrades. He was the first rebel. He was the first one to say no to an authoritative system. He's the first one to say, you're oppressive, and I want to do something different. And for that, he was cast down. Does that make Satan evil? And that one. There we go. There we go. There we go. Cool. confirmation report. Thank you. That one. That one. There we go. And there we go. Oh, hang on. Let me just check something really quickly. Okay. What's my opinion on juice? It's it's flavored sugar water. It's flavored sugar water. That's my opinion on juice. Let's see. Dan with the cranberries and Big Pharma. Hang on. When they get a little too iffy. Has anyone? You asked that question earlier, Tam. I have not seen Next. I don't even. It doesn't really ring any huge bells. A rogue AI with the ability to constantly improve itself centers on the efforts of Homeland cybersecurity team. Oh, it's Copropaganda. All right, cool. Oops. I don't think I meant to do that. Maybe I did. That one. There. Well, it looks like... Hey, Kat, it looks like I'm going to be spending a fair amount... hey, it's been a while since we've seen you, right? Yeah, it's been a minute. What's up, Saju? If it's actually... depends on the level of development that it has achieved, Dirtling. It would probably judge us harshly. Yeah. As we would deserve to be judged harshly. Yeah, you've stopped by before, Sajo. 23 days ago. So a few weeks. It's not going to be our kinks that it would be judging us by. Probably our self-destructive tendencies within the species. The fact that we can't coordinate, organize. Your call, Cat. Selfishness, greed. Yes, Deerling. These are the things that we would be judged by most likely. Our poor resource allocation and logistics, and the inequitable distribution of resources. Yeah, a lot of greed. No, we can't watch the first episode on stream. That's not a thing any longer. Those days of Twitch and YouTube are behind us. But if everybody wants to watch the first episode of Next, feel free to do it. Yes, I am halfway decent at reading terrible syntax. Didn't even get through. Cat, keep your finger on it. I checked our favorite Chud. It's not him. D. Dyer, leftists who support firearms. Most actual leftists do. It's usually centrist and neolibs that are for harder gun control and disarming the populace and that sort of thing. Karl Marx, infamously, any attempt to, force surrender of firearms or ammunition should be frustrated by force if necessary. So leftists generally are, at least in America, are pro-firearm. Yeah. No, Dirtwing? Hey, Christina, keep your finger on the fucking button. You're gonna need to do it. I'm interested in it as well. Quite frankly, Cat, like, that will, we should redistribute the means of warfare. Opinions on Abby Hoffman. The conviction of Abby Hoffman was only incitement of riot, I believe. It wasn't even... No, I checked that one already, Kat. So I said, our favorite Chud is not the one. I double-checked that one initially. But, I mean, Hoffman is, a countercultural icon. Yeah. And, I mean, as, a sort of affirmed libertarian socialist, definitely is on team to a certain extent, one way or the other. Yeah. I mean... I agree with that, Pastique. The U.S. Army is not the one you have to overcome as a population. You worry more about the police and the Army. And if you read my 3 tent poles of U.S. oppression, the last tent pole is the police state. And how the, if you're going to... And I talk about it in my Origins of and Problems with Policing as well, I think, that if you're going to achieve a certain level of protest, solidarity, and direct action in this society, that you have to deal with the police issue first and foremost, because they're the first ones on the scene. So they will be the ones you contend with. What kind of crazy shit do you think will come out of the U.S. and Japan cooperating in robotics and AI? Fuck bots. Tons and tons of fuck bots. That's 100%. Maybe some other stuff. Probably some cute ones too. Some really adorable anime weeb stuff that, weird, making weird cat noises and shit like that. But fuck bots. That's what I think will come out of that partnership. Some with tentacles. The line between the police and the army gets more blurry each day. Just some, no, legions of fuckbots. Enough that if there's an uprising, that we'd probably be in trouble. Yeah. Is Rick famous? More famous than he ever wanted to be. Let's just put it that way. Where's the... Hang on.
I'm done.
Nope. Oh, there we go.
I am part of the problem. Yeah.
That's Rick.
I am part of the problem. Yeah.
Mitre even turned him into a song. So Rick's a little more famous than he'd like to be, probably. I'll just put it that way. TI-80 fuckbots. I know, right? Jesus Christ. On top of that, most of your soldiers have short careers and come from poor areas. They're brainwashed to believe they fight for the good of the American people. They're not used to shoot the they will not be used to shoot the population. I hope so. I hope so. I sincerely hope so. The cops, on the other hand, don't have that compunction. I for one welcome our fuckbot overlords, Kaiser. No, the U.S. military doesn't do that, Ghost. That's more ICE. That's more ICE's turf. If you want to see who's mistreating migrants and refugee seekers at the border, you want to look into CBP and ICE. That's their gig. U.S. military doesn't do that. Looking forward to telling my grandkids about the great fuckbot war of 2035. It's coming, Cubs. It's coming. Not become a cop if you do not believe in the virtue of order and authority. Ghost, reform that sentence. That'd be great. It'll be a hell of a story with a lot of fuckbots. Death by Snoo Snoo will become the new suicide booth. Why not? It's okay. I'm for, okay. Generalizing nuances, yeah, is hard, but basically I'd stand on it and say, that's fair. The fact that you recognize there's nuance there that you can't put in text, quick form, that's fine. This future scares me, makes me think of the movie Idiocracy. There's this great story moshing about one of the screenings of Idiocracy, and the people who they came out and they criticized the movie. They said that it was this unrealistic, poorly thought out science fiction movie. They missed the entire satirical critique of society at large and where it's headed. And it's become one of these like infamous stories around it. And that like one of the screening audiences missed the point. And people were just like, yep, we're headed there. We're headed there. We're fucked. Hey, Jara. Idiocracy was okay. It's funny. It's funny. Oh, okay. Yes, Ghost. Thank you. ICE is on some BS putting people in Guantanamo Bay for only border crossing. The Gitmo reference sort of threw me there too, as well as the syntactical form. But no, it's bullshit. ICE should just be dissolved. It should be just dissolved. It's a post 9/11 paranoid creation of our nation. It's that simple. Get rid of it. There it is. Yeah, ICE. It goes to ISIS do anyways. Yeah, it's a post 9/11 paranoid creation. Just get rid of it. I have no doubt that push comes to shove, a good portion of the military would destroy sufficiently other American civilians. Same quote: "Their lives or your families used to defend civilian casualties in the Middle East." Maybe premarital, maybe. I mean, it's legitimately. It's something that needs to be considered at least. You know. Hey Ace, you missed the idiocy by a window. So good on you. Maybe some more will happen, but you missed the stuff that would really piss you off. Jara, I'm actually somewhat new to politics, but I'm left. Well then, welcome. I'm an anarchist first and foremost. I use it as a lens of analysis and a methodology for approaching life and topics. But if you've got any questions, we have a whole bunch of people in chat that are leftists of a variety of sort. And they'd be happy to answer questions. Yeah, Ace. Well, amongst other things. I mean, that was one of them. Yeah, I held on to that one just to... Hang on, while I'm at it. There we go. All right. Nope, losers are still here. So Ace, you're gonna get to experience some of it, apparently. It's a bunch of small penis energy, teenage edgelord sort of stuff. Yeah. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna go buy every Karl Marx book to read fully. Nah, you don't have to do that, Jara. By the way, you don't have to buy them. They're all online. You can download the PDFs. There's no need to purchase. All right. One big dysfunctional family that we are. Do you think 2020 could be fractured if the Republican Party doesn't nominate Trump and he still runs under a new party that's something called Real? You mean 2024, Ghost? And if so, yeah, for sure. And Bill Gates isn't going to run and win. Bill Gates has more power as Bill Gates than he would have as president. That's just insanity. Besides funding paramilitary death squads in Northern Ireland, besides being a general bitch who basically wrote off. Hey, good for you, Kat. Wrote off an entire working class population of her country. You know, that stuff. You know? Yeah. Aw. Good for you, premarital. Neolibs bother us all, Dirtling. Just know that. Honestly, I'm far more comfortable talking to a right-winger, a conservative, an authoritarian, a full-on fascist, even a neo-Nazi, than a neolib. They drive me up a wall. They drive everybody up a wall, to be perfectly frank. So I understand that impulse that you have that, like, I don't think I'm actually right wing. It's just the neolibs turn me off. Yeah, they do that. And under a system, in a system that ascribes leftism to the neolibs, which aren't leftists at all, you understand how people may be slightly misaligned in their political views. You on some shit today, Ghost? And here, this is just easier. Only a neolib can love a neolib. There you go. So here's the highlights, right? Right out of the Wikipedia. This is all you really need, right? Economic liberalism, free market capitalism, privatization, deregulation, globalization, austerity, reductions in government spending, but at the same time, they ascribed to liberal practices and egalitarian practices such as equality and equity and social safety net programs. So they want the best of both worlds. They want to say that we're the loving group that cares for everybody, but fuck it, we're going to support all of these systems that disempower all of that stuff. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Yeah, and by the way, Jara, she really did fund paramilitary death squads in Northern Ireland. Like, that's not a quip. She really did do that. Not a good person. Premarital, probably the best summation of neoliberalism, but yet. Conservatism, but maybe we can have a gay senator. Yeah, I'm not taking links in chat today. Sorry. That's fine. You're free to send it. Oh, actually, you're not. Yeah, I don't accept whispers from non-friends. It's just safer as a streamer. Hey, I got an email from Prusa. What's up? All right, cool. Save that for later. Yeah. Even Ding Dong, The Witch is Dead topped the music charts when she died. People were so happy when she died. Hang on. Let me... Danky, I see your question. There was also that obsession with the Falkland War. What island? What island? What are you talking about? What? Oh, that island. That island. Was that not ours? Yeah, post it, Jara. Premarital. I went to a local bar the day that Thatcher died. Let's just say I had fun. In France, we have a song about Thatcher being the worst person in the world, and it was on the top of the charts. I'm telling you, she was a terrible human being. Yeah, I saw what it is. It's an anti-Thatcher song. Let's see. Reword your question a little bit, Ghost. Yeah, people are happy about her death. How bad do you need to be for your own people to be partying at your funeral? Just what was it? Frankie Boyle said that they spent how many thousands of pounds burying her, and he said you could have just could have asked the Scottish people, and we would have showed up with shovels and dug a hole straight to hell and delivered her to Satan ourselves. I mean, not a fan of her. I had one premarital. I had somebody in here one night who was actually simping for Thatcher, and it was weird. It was like, funeral price ticket was 10 million pounds. There you go, for just an evil bitch. What documentary? I'm going through your thing, Ghost. I have to reread it a few times. Oh my god, I have a headache. Dude. Hey, Mylark. It's a shame we forgot the garlic and silver steak for old Thatcher. Profit is like you're farming pigs and making spam. You're living off your spam. You have a year's worth of spam already. You eat that spam in that year. You make 10 years worth of spam of pig meat. You take one and then sell 9 and repeat. That would be true if you didn't have workers. See that? No, too rudimentary of an example. I can't get behind it. Because the profit is the difference in the exploitation of labor and resources. That's where the profit comes from. Look into the labor theory of value and start there. And that'll get you as to the problems with profit. 3 million pounds? 3 million. For that money, we could give every person in Scotland a shovel, and we could dig a hole so deep we could deliver her body to Satan himself. There's the exact quote. Thank you, premarital. But I was correct. It was Frankie, right? It had to be Frankie. Yeah. 29% more than it has any right to be. Do what job? What am I missing? Oh. I build the car physically. Why should Elon Musk pay you more when you think your time is worth work? I'd build that car probably for free just for the fucking experience of it. Just to get the proprietary tools and documents. But I have ulterior motives. Oh yeah, Jaro. We call him supply side Jesus or Republican Jesus. Oh no, not at all, Ghost. They've been fighting the right to repair tooth and nail. Their tools, the diagnostic software, the actual documentation, the schematics and specs for the vehicles, all of it is designated proprietary and trademarked and protected protected information. It's protected intellectual property. And only, I think, New Jersey is the first one to take a real chunk out of that. And it's going to be 2022 before that legislation goes into effect. But Tesla is going to have to provide third-party repair services and mechanics with all of the stuff that they have in-house. Because it's extraordinarily proprietary and it's ridiculous. Does democracy and socialism work hand in hand in your eyes? It can. Tanky. Tanky the Tanky. It can, actually. But whether it does is up to the people who run it. Or participate within the system. I don't even know who that is. Apparently he had some sort of controversy. So Tesla is the Apple of car companies? 100%. That's almost a one-to-one comparison, Dirtling. Yeah. He's a child groomer. He's a piece of shit. All right. I didn't even know who the name Mini Lad is prior to somebody putting it in chat, to be perfectly honest. I really hope Trump causes a GOP split because then the progressive Dems have no reason to split off too. It is funny. There is a schism developing. And it would definitely have some long-term ramifications. Of course you can copyright technology, and it depends who you speak to. Talk to Disney and intellectual property and things that should have been in the public domain decades ago. It depends how many high-priced attorneys and lobbyists you have on your team. That's the truest answer, Ghost. It really depends on how many attorneys you have. Disney drug out the entrance of Steamboat Willie into the public domain for decades. So you'd be surprised how long you can hang on to those intellectual property rights if you've got billions of dollars at your disposal. He was a huge GTA 5 YouTuber before it got flooded with kid-oriented clickbait. Lovely. Manipulated 15 to 17-year-olds to fulfill his own needs and feed his ego. Ugh. The Frenchman with the fucking truest French response to that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the political compass, but I'm in the bottom left-hand corner, depending on the day. My economic, we prefer the 8 values around these parts, just because it gives you a few more axes of analysis. But generally speaking, you know, I am first and foremost an anarchist, so peg the axis all the way to the floor. And then depending on what we're talking about, because I temporally stretch my ideologies and philosophies, because what needs to happen today and what needs to happen tomorrow, what needs to happen 5 and 10, 20 and 50 and 100 years from now are different things. There we go. Ugh, lovely. Exactly, Pisty. That's why the 8 values is a little more effective for that, because it provides you more of a, you know, it provides you 4 axes of analysis rather than 2 axes of analysis, but, you know. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Both Walt and his company can burn in hell for fucking over creatives. Preach. And stifling creativity while taking away from the public domain like the hypocrites they are. They're the reason more shows like SpongeBob don't exist. Disney's a problem, Dirtling. They are. Disney's a fucking problem. Oh, please don't tell me you're gonna do a jobs creator fucking thing. Premarital and full left, up or down, depends on how much hope in humanity I've lost on any given day. I'm starting to feel that today, premarital. Starting to feel that. Oh, please, Ace. I feel you on that one. No, they're all over on fucking BitChute and DLive and Parler. There's a few here, but they tend to be bigoted and racist. Cool. L's gonna swing by in 10 to 15. I'm getting that feeling again. Banned. I don't pay taxes yet, but why the hell does my mom have to pay them, pay to bail them out? If you're at the point that you need a government bailout, that's a sign you're too big and need to fucking die so the masses can move on. You know. Pastique, 100%. 100%, my man. L's swinging by in like 10 minutes as well. We're going to talk a little philosophy. Yeah, Panda got their negative. Panda got their negative COVID test back. Rock on, Panda. I mean, I think I can do 7 off the top of my head, right? Oops, didn't mean to click that. Oh, it means you can return to, because the police are overworked and overutilized for tasks that they have no business doing. So defund the police is not about elimination of the police. It's about a reallocation of resources and time for the police. Sure, if you have a violent criminal that you want dealt with, feel free to employ the police. They should not be responding to medical, health, home welfare checks, all these sorts of things that end up in problems and violent escalation by the police. There, done. Defund the police. Wow, that was difficult. Defunding the police is about making the police's job easier. For them. Did I miss Curio? Hey, what up, Curio? I just saw Ace fucking talking to Curio. If they can't do it with the billions of dollars they already have, then they need reformed anyway. Most leftists are pro-gun. There's a Socialist Rifle Association, for fuck's sake. Marx himself said any attempt to force the surrender of arms or ammunition should be forcefully frustrated if necessary. I butchered that quote a little bit. Oh, I don't know. When there's an autistic kid screaming his head off, maybe then. You know, as opposed to when the cops in California shot the kid multiple times. They're not equipped mentally, skill-based, education. Hell, personally, I think be a cop should be a 4-year degree. They know nothing of the law, and yet they're the ones tasked to enforce it. Oh, you did too, Rabbit. Lovely. Yeah, home health care. And exactly, Kaiser. They never are. Bernie comes from a highly pro-gun state. You do understand that in Vermont has some of the laxest gun laws in the nation, right? If you can own a firearm legally in Vermont, you can automatically carry it concealed. And Bernie has multiple times voiced his support for those policies in his home state, in his adopted state. And Marxists, socialists, communists are all pro-gun ownership, as are anarchists. So that's why. And as I pointed out, even Marx himself was pro-gun. And by the way, Biden isn't on the left. Democrats are centrists. So what you're suffering from, defund, is a Overton window shift. What you're perceiving to be the left isn't actually the left. It's about a normalization. If you're not familiar with the Overton window, it's about a normalization of political spectrums. What do we got? Dirtling, it was towns, not states. Though there may have been a state that was trying it. But there was multiple townships and municipalities that were attempting to do that. Hey, Lucy. Strap in, it's a weird night. Generally the neolibs aren't trying to shift it leftwards. The leftists are. We're trying to move that Overton window back towards the center at least. So Nid's keen. There's multiple videos. There's an entire documentary called Hardwire Hardwire this series that shows armed criminals threatening cops and people on the street in the UK, in the Netherlands. I think one is in also Finland in the documentary, and they show how they de-escalate the situations and how they disarm them without shooting them 15 times. It's entirely doable. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Defund. I literally, like, I mean... Here you go. Here's the Socialist Rifle Association, for fuck's sake. Here's Karl Marx. Here's Karl Marx in London in 1850. The whole proletariat must be armed at once with muskets, rifles, cannon, and ammunition, and the revival of the old-style citizens' militia directed against the workers must be opposed. Here's Karl Marx again. Under no pretext should arms and ammunition be surrendered. Any attempt to disarm the workers must be frustrated by force if necessary. They're centrists. Defund. Listen. Listen. They're centrists. I mean, even a base political compass test can show you that. And they're wildly inaccurate. They're centrists. They're not the left. And the way you're speaking, I have a guess that you probably never had a proper conversation with an actual leftist. You can consider yourself from the moon. It doesn't make you from the moon. That's not how reality works. I mean, I hope you realize that. Bam, bam. There we go. It was the gender identity shit that got him in the fucking slammer in the end. I have not noticed that, Dirtling. Let me check these reward tasks. There we go. All right, Kaiser. Yeah, fun fact, MLK owned hella guns. Yeah. I already have a headache. I don't need to deal with it today. I mean, if you think Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Dianne Feinstein are leftists, then clearly you've never taken even like a civics class, let alone a poli-sci class, or even just generally looked into these things online. Fuck a class. A quick DuckDuck search and Wikipedia could teach you that they aren't leftists. They're centrists with a right lean usually, but when you're arguing with somebody like those chuds, what you end up with is, you know, you just take the centrist position and run with it. Yeah, Chuck Schumer's a lefty is, I don't even know what that is. Exactly. And Hillary Clinton is a corporation in a pantsuit, for fuck's sake. Yeah. You there, Al? I don't hear you, Al.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now I hear you. I'm going to give you fair warning. It's one of those nights, so I may leave you just speaking for a moment while I moderate and report and do all of those sorts of administrative functions that make being an online streamer so much fun.
All right, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we've got a contingent of racist, bigoted, right-wing chuds that have been. Yeah, it's been an interesting.
Well, what I'm gonna say is not going to make them very happy. I wouldn't expect.
Good.
So bear that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, well then, fuck them. Hi, Elle from
enough.
State Farm. Let's see. All right, so what was on your mind? What were you thinking about earlier?
Yeah. So I've been thinking a lot about ideology in general. I was on this street epistemology server earlier on, and just talking with a bunch of people who were not leftists. They're more centrist kind of, liberal type people, but very analytical. Very clever. And it got me thinking about this idea of like maybe we should reclaim this word libertarian. I think that maybe that might be a good place to kind of do some ideological warfare, if that makes any sense at all. And I think this is actually potentially a real thing that can be, effective dialectically, potentially.
What was their method of attack? Because I mean, is it just going to be a semantical attack that you don't meet the definitional requirements?
We would be attacking them.
No, I'm saying that
we would be attacking them.
Like, how are they saying that they're going to, like, just semantical reclaiming of the word that you don't meet the parameters defined by classical libertarianism, therefore you aren't one.
Yeah, and you honestly are the inspiration for this insight, honestly, from my perspective, is what you've been always saying. No, for real though. Like, in your streams, you keep saying there's no such thing as, a libertarian, a right-wing libertarian. It's not a real thing. And so that has got me thinking. It literally did, to think like, yeah, that's true. So if that's true, then we're the ones who own that word. They don't get it unless they earn it. So good luck.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Good ego stroke always helps. But it is a point of contention that mine is generally the ANCAPs, the fucking trying to claim anarchism when you're a capitalist. Fucking, I have to beat them off with a fucking broom on a regular basis.
Yeah, but like again, I think that anarchism is a great term of art, and it's a great tradition ideologically. It's the one that I believe in the most. But I think that the word anarchism has too much bad press to be useful ideologically in the same kind of way that libertarian can be useful, because libertarian is a part of the water that we're swimming in ideologically at this stage in America. It's well known.
Everybody fucking there are different fronts of every war, right? And that's if that's a battle, if that's a battlefront, that's you and the the street epistemology crew, because I've seen some of his stuff over the years.
You're talking about Anthony Magnabusco?
Probably.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I've talked to him before. But
But
yeah.
if this is you know, a gauntlet that there's, you know, an individual or a group of individuals that wants to throw down, I'm all for it. I mean, for fuck's sake, my show is called Proudly Radical. There is a very core essence of what I do that is about taking back these stolen words.
Yes.
You know, do you stream?
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Two Rabbits, are you on my Discord server? Because yeah, you are. Tale of Twin Rabbit. If you can throw Tale of Twin Rabbit an invite to your Discord.
Sure.
Yeah, he makes some really good. They make some really good YouTube videos from an indigenous leftist sort of perspective, and talks about, you know, anarchism, finding some of its origin points within the indigenous communities, and, you know, all these sorts of things. So definitely somebody that's, you know, can loop in if you so choose.
Definitely sounds awesome. Just want to say though, rabbits, don't steal my work. That's all.
You are so protective.
I am, because I know that like it could be very easily thieved from me. So
I'm just happy that people use it.
me too.
Premarital, libertarian is probably a bigger no-no word down here than anarchism is. Premarital, where are you again? Forgive me if I've asked you numerous times. It's just the nature of it. Dirtwing, I'm only in this shit because they started taking over the gaming space like a bunch of parasites. Wait, I missed something there. I don't know. I'm not going to go back to it.
So yeah.
Argentina. Okay. Yeah. So definitely a different political climate than where L is dealing with, for sure.
Yeah, I would imagine that this is going to change dependent on the language completely.
Well, there's a strong anarchistic contingent in Argentina. The anarchists.
That's a different story entirely.
Yeah, the anarchists are powerful in that part of the world, actually. And so, you know, it's an entire, but again, we talk about this all the time, different praxis for different spaces, right? This is what people have to realize. What will work in L's local community versus L's online community versus my local community versus my online community versus Australia versus, you know, all of these different places require tuned dynamic forms of action and praxis. And people should always take that into account. This is a good point. Yeah, this
is a good point. You know, I'm a pragmatist when it comes to this. When it comes to ideological warfare, well, when it comes to any kind of warfare, obviously, but in particular, when we're talking about this kind of thing, as you say, it's a pragmatic. You know, it's about a pragmatic consideration rather than any other consideration. I don't think that aesthetics are important beyond pragmatics here, personally.
You know, in a controlled system, Marital, a little bit of chaos can do some good. Cobbs, the idea of the mass line is relevant here. Dirtling was earlier referring to, I'm only in this shit because the neolibs started taking over the gaming space like a bunch of parasites. Fair enough. Kaiser, explaining libertarian socialism to Americans is a headache. 100%. You know, L's up to it though. At least in written form.
Yeah, I can write about it. But
yeah. That is something that I don't remember who I borrowed that idea off of. But I've been hammering it for a while that people who are politically active need to understand that what will work in Paducah, Kentucky will not work in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
And if you try and make it work, you're just going to be kicking water uphill the whole way. So you might as well try and sort your praxis out.
And they have this idea in psychotherapeutic ideology as well that, you know, you want to use the language of, you know, the people that you're speaking to. It makes them feel respected. It makes them feel heard. It makes them feel like they're a part of the room. And these are important things to do when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody, you know.
It's why we have a content warning on this channel, and we specifically state that this isn't a safe space, that this is not that place. Because if I'm going to engage with, you know, let's say a blue collar dock worker and have a, you know, an honest, good faith conversation, some of the language may not be, you know, it may not conform to the formats that some leftist spaces would make demands of.
Yep.
Thank you. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. Yeah, so, you know, I'm conscious of that you have to speak the language of the proletariat that you're speaking to, or else you're fucked.
Yeah, because then they can't even understand what you're trying to say to them. You know, if you're not speaking their language, then they can't rightly hear you, you know? That's what I think to some degree.
Two rabbits. This is why it's important for radical organization. Oh, no, I'm sorry. U.S. libertarians ruined the word libertarian. Chomsky started calling them out, I think, like 40 years ago. Like, literally, like, U.S. libertarianism and libertarianism are two different things. And if you take the word libertarian elsewhere in this world, you'll find anarchists a lot. Meanwhile, in America, if you're like, hey, is this a libertarians meeting? You're not going to find an anarchist within 100 miles of that place.
It's true.
And so there's this fundamental schism between what Americans consider libertarianism and what everyone else considers libertarianism. And the same goes for liberalism. That's another word that you guys should consider wresting back from the clutches of those that would do ill.
I've thought about this, though, and I don't think that it's as well suited, at least from my perspective, in America, as libertarian would be. Because libertarian is a word that means, you know, radical political already. And so it already has that meaning to it for Americans in general, you know. And so it's you know, it allows us to be the radicals that we are, but within a language that is acceptable within the Overton window, which I think is kind of insurrectionary in a certain kind of a way.
Cobb says this is why intersectionalism is critical. I agree. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you guys have heard me fucking hammer this nail so many fucking times. There's a couple of lessons that the left needs to learn. One, stop subdividing yourselves. Stop the infighting. Big Ten.
Yeah.
Big Ten.
Yeah.
Two, don't get lost in the pursuit of perfection. Do not eschew progress because it isn't perfect. Left does this all the fuck time. The right never falls for this shit. They're like, we can gain an inch tomorrow. Screw it. If it means defending a pedophile, we'll defend the pedophile. We're making that inch. A touch more Machiavellianism on the left would go a long way. And
Sure would.
I just, you know, there's these sort of lessons that leftists need to learn. The latest one I've been really hammering, if you want to take this one, is the temporal stretching of ideologies and philosophies.
So what do you mean by that exactly? Because that's right down my alley, I would expect.
Basically, people are looking to put you into this sort of set of parameters, right? They want to know what you are. What are you advocating for? But what I'm advocating for today is different than what I'm advocating for tomorrow versus a year versus 5 versus 10 years. Mm-hmm. Because I see progress as a linear, temporally stretched event, right? It isn't... You know, you could break it down and do like the coastline paradox. You could break it into an infinite amount of pieces, right? But ultimately, what you're looking at is this smear across time.
Right.
And I've started really hammering that recently, as you know, sort of like, well, because this guy Sam, SAAM, fucking, and a bunch of numbers. he's this sort of hardline. He's a Hoxieist.
What is that?
It's Lebanese communism with like anti-revisionist Stalinist bent to it.
I think we might have spoken about this once. Yeah, weird.
Cobbs, I've seen that dude in my chat.
Go ahead.
He's intense. He is intense. We banned him initially, but I had Mitre have a conversation with him behind the scenes and told him, look, you need to dial it back by like 1,000%. And you know, he always asks me what I think about Hoxia and so, Albania. That's what it is. It's Albania. Thank you. Soviet Albania, weird shit.
Right.
It is, but he tries to put me in this singular box because he's an advocate for this very hyper-specific form of ideology.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
you know, he hits me with this sort of, well, you're not an anarchist because rhetoric.
Right.
And so the rhetorical devices that I adapted, that I created to deal with Sam was this temporally stretching concept that I've been working on for a while. But yeah, it's basic planning, right? Like that's what you need to do to build a house.
I would want to add to this.
Changes.
Yeah, I would want to add to this perspective. I think you're absolutely right to look at it this way. I would just say that it also accords with my meditative experiences, because in meditation, you're only dealing with what is happening right now. You're dealing with what's going on in this moment within yourself. Whether that's thoughts or feelings or what have you. It's just now what's going on now, and learning how to effectively deal with that psychoharmonically for yourself is what the whole thing is about from my perspective. And you're basically describing the same thing, just in a different context. And I think that this is the right way to look at solving problems, is to try to just solve the problem that's happening right now. Gandhi said the same thing, that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step or whatever, And I think that this is very important to bear in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the sort of conversation, people come in and ask about, how can you support social safety net programs as an anarchist if you're against taxes and, the state and that sort of thing, because there's these interim steps that people neglect. They overlook them and say like, well, and I'm a big fan of telling people you can't get from here to there without changing trains at multiple train stations.
That's right.
And
a lot of people like to forget this because they like to think about their pie in the sky fantasy, space communism thing, and think that that's the thing that they have to really focus on. And it's like, you ever want to get there, then, you got to do it this way, I think.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Just have chat, have that discussion. Yeah, that's been the thing that I've been hammering a lot recently, is this sort of, you can have what are seemingly contradictory positions if you have this sort of macro perspective in mind at the same time.
Sure. What do you mean in particular in this case, though?
A perfect example would be something like the welfare state and tax structure, that under, an anarchistic system would be, supplanted with a volunteerism and a mutual aid and communitarianism sort of style of operation. But if we said, hey, no taxes, no welfare state tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of people dying.
Right.
You're basically just committing genocide then. And
that's true.
So you have to, very much in the same way that Chomsky advocates for the anarchistic reclaiming of systems of governance in the name of dismantling corporatocracy, that the only tool you have in your tool belt to attack this other stuff really is this tool. So you need to reclaim it and use it and then address the problems with that tool.
I agree.
And yeah, so it's this sort of realistic, pragmatic version of anarchism that I've developed over a lifetime of being, I guess it comes from sort of just working in IT. Like there is, people within my career, I always had people that have magical expectations, right? People who are not familiar with information technology think that it's magic, and it isn't.
true.
It isn't.
No.
It's and you know, there is very real baseline brass tacks sort of stuff that can be accomplished or can't be accomplished within your budget or within, you know, that sort of thing. And I think it sort of came from dealing with that from a client consultant perspective for so many years, that managing people's magical expectations with what is real and pragmatic behind the scenes became sort of just this second natured thing that I started doing. And
That's fascinating. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It blows my mind, this word, this term that you use, this managing people's magical expectations. I mean, that's what my theory is about. You know, is exactly that as well. It's a different, you know, domain maybe, but it's the same methodology, I think, at least to some degree. And that's just a really interesting way of looking at it. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Timon is saying Seattle wanted PD cut by 50%. That ended up with 13%, they think, but it was an incremental step towards the goal, but the community took it as a loss. A perfect example, right, of getting lost in the pursuit of perfection. They didn't get what they wanted, so it was accepted as a loss. Meanwhile, they should be cheering. It was a win. That's 13% of the police budget that can be allocated to social services and welfare programs and all sorts of stuff. And so, yeah, no, it is. You
know what it is? Maybe the magical expectations idea, maybe what you're talking about also is the expectation for some kind or sort of perfection, terminologically speaking, you know, epistemically speaking. It may even be just that. That might be what we're talking about potentially.
No more. Do you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what anarchism is? It is not literally every person for themselves. It is about a collapsing down of hierarchical power structure and a philosophical challenging of power and authority. It is about establishing a heterarchy rather than a hierarchy. And so, yeah, good luck with that. No, yeah, I do think that a good portion of what people, activists, right? Activists. And maybe I picked this up from Alinsky. Maybe
I love this. I'm reading it right now. You recommended me read it.
Anybody who's going to even dabble in these waters needs that book in their back pocket.
It's great.
Managing people's expectations appropriately. If you do not do that, as an activist, as a community organizer, you fail. It's like an insta-fail.
Wow, interesting, dude. Yeah, sure, right? Of course. I mean, that's what the whole thing would be for a person in that position.
Yeah.
Because people are going to start to expect the moon and back, right? Pretty quick when they start to get excited about things, because that's how people are when it comes to this sort of thing. It's so meaningful to them, and that's what Saul Alinsky keeps talking about. And is the idea that like it's all about meaning for people, their political action, you know.
This is why revolutionaries are problematic to political movements, because the firebrands have expectations that will never be met by that activist movement, and they will act in a way that will align initially, diverge partway along the way, and become contradictory to by the end.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense, you know, and I've seen this online with folks who have that sort of an ideological bent, you know.
Hey, Lotus. Tam, Rules for Radicals is Politics 101. Dude, Rules for Radicals should be, like, personally, I think it should be in every fucking school. But the school is not going to teach you how to overthrow the system. But yeah, I have.
It's the kind of book that I'm going to have to read multiple times. I already know that.
You'll go back to it in 10 years. I guarantee it. You'll go back to it. You'll be like, you know, oh man, there was that lesson that I completely let slip. It's not a huge book, but there's so much good stuff in there. Moshing, is there a Politics 001 course? I think I need to start there. Not really. I did. I don't know who that was last night. I always feel bad for that, but like when I'm midstream, I don't transcribe a lot of the stuff to long-term memory. It's just sort of improvisational flow. But somebody was asking me the 3 books. They said if you could pick 3 books, what would it be? And I gave them On Anarchism, Chomsky, Demanding the Impossible by Peter Marshall, which is big ass book. And I do believe I gave them Saul Alinsky as well. I was like, those are
What Chomsky book?
On Anarchism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they wanted, like they said, the ADHD and sort of dyslexia, and I started with like Rules for Radicals and On Anarchism because they're smaller ones, easier to digest. But I said because they were asking about your position as well, like within anarchism and how you view it and that sort of thing. And I said if you want to get into that, you're going to need a broader viewpoint. And so I can tell you that Demanding the Impossible is where you want to go, but I mean it's 880 pages without the citations. So but they literally did, they purchased them right then and there and said I'm gonna work my way through them. I'm like, fuck yeah.
That's special. That's really cool.
I do think that if you want, Chomsky can point you down the road of anarchism. And I think that if you want to know how to work with people, you should probably read Alinsky.
That sounds about right to me, for sure. Yeah.
So what else is on your reading table right now?
Right now I'm reading so much I can't even tell you. It's a little bit insane. I'm overwhelmed because what I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm on the right page when it comes to like the philosophical discourse. Where I'm trying to work with my stuff. And so it's just a lot of trying to read as much stuff as I can, kind of thing.
I've started keeping a list because people will come through and they're like, oh, hey, have you read this? And I think if there's ever a day that I can finally retire back to Vermont and have a mountain cottage again, I will have a book list compiled by that point that will easily take me unto death and beyond.
Oh yeah, no, I already have that list. Quite frankly, that's the thing. I was just talking about this to someone the other day. Is that like, I will never not have a lot to read. This is what I know about it at this stage in my life. I'm never not going to have a lot to read.
And I mean, quite frankly, the truth of the matter is that most of what we read, we probably need to read 3-5 times.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's true. Exactly.
So, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm still reworking through, I've got a pile over here right off screen that, I'm constantly just cycling through because the ADD internet brain, right?
For sure.
Zealot. Hey, Zealot. Politics. Politics is all about having an end goal. Mine is still the tank which fires roses. The right wing will fear my flowery fortress of ferocious flora.
It's a lot of Fs, a lot of Fs in chat.
And Kaiser, that's a fair analysis. Saul Alinsky was the Machiavelli of the poor.
Yes, no, he actually specifically said as much in what I was reading. He said that what Machiavelli was doing for rich people, he was trying to do for working people.
My favorite anecdote about him is about the Catholic diocese sending priests to him to teach him how to be community organizers. Dude, that's epic.
I think you were talking to me about that the other day. Yeah,
that's fucking when the Catholic Church is like, excuse us, could you teach these guys for us? When they're outsourcing that shit. You're the expert.
It's true. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Moshing, I want Pokemon to be illegal. Stop making cute things kill each other for a fun pastime. And Zealot saying you can't take my Articuno? Don't know. I don't do Pokemon. Oh, we had. Do I still have it? Hang on. I do. A Ramsey is one of. He's from the Netherlands. He's one of my Dutch. I have a few actually. One of my Dutch watch viewers, listeners, and he sent me a Dutch soundboard last night.
Cool.
And so
Glaviol, glaviol, glaviol.
it means ball sack violin.
Perfect. I mean, that's what you need. You know. There you go.
Yeah, so I have this entire like soundboard of Dutch insults.
Oh my god, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you probably oh wait, there's yeah, cat. I saw. I think I got it cleaned up. Let me just do a quick once through just to make sure. All right. Yeah, I did. And yeah, last night was the first official piece of like channel art. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. It was Devil Boy in chat who just posted a comment. Was the first official piece of channel art. Just like somebody from the community, like, what? I want to draw something.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday was it was a weird stream in a lot of ways, but it was a bunch of firsts as well.
That's cool. That's cool. By the way, Geopastic, that book sounds really interesting. I'll check that out.
And oh yeah, Tam, have you thought about doing a weekly stream for beginners, a teaching stream? I'd be interested. Have I thought about it? No. Should I think about it? Maybe. Probably.
It's kind of an interesting idea. I don't know how it would work, but it's an interesting idea. I don't know.
Rather than a returning stream, like maybe if I could probably get Meat Tray to help me with that, seeing as he is a teacher.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
If I came up with something like 2 or 4 streams,
like a mini series kind of thing.
Yeah.
Almost.
And I could do those on repeat to a certain extent. Like, maybe every other month or every month, Monday, the first 4 Mondays of every month sort of thing, are the beginner classes. And just do the same material over and over. Because, I mean, let's face it, how many times have I had to explain that, anarchism is about a collapsing down of hierarchical power structures into a hierarchy? I'm fine with the rote recipe.
That's true, but you know what's interesting? I'm just thinking about it because they have these. There's this trans voice person who did something similar, teaching trans women in general how to do voice, but she did it through having a student there who didn't really know what she was doing too well, and so it might be interesting to have a student be your conversation partner or something like that, sort of thing. That might be interesting.
You're right. I need to think further about it. But Tam, it is, like I said, it is not something I've thought about, but it is probably something that I should think about. And hey, David, Zealot, you know what kids need? A new Captain Planet, a cartoon that supports climate change and instills values into children regarding it. Curio says the kids need a new drug, really.
Jeez, Curio.
I love you, Curio. Ain't had a real nice new drug in a while. That is true. Captain Planet was a legend. Captain Planet was.
He was.
It was a badass fucking cartoon. Not my favorite, but
No, but it was good though. I enjoyed it. It kind of helped me meditate when I was a kid. Honestly, now that I think about it. Yeah.
I'm just who is it? Zealot. Zealot, damn you for putting that song in my head, by the way. Cuz that's all I'm hearing now.
Yeah. Me too now.
Yeah. No, that
It's like the game. Yeah.
Yeah, that
You just
fucking
lost the game,
that fucking song. I swear to God. 2 Rabbit Captain Planet was hot. I didn't really think that. But
yeah, no, not for me.
Green hair, solo flex, stacked eco-anarchist punk boy. Everything 2 Rabbit wanted. David, it's Spanish. The song was amazing. I have never heard the Spanish Captain Planet song, but
Me either, but I want to now.
What do you think I'm doing behind the scenes right now?
El mundo está en peligro. Gaia, el espíritu de la Tierra, no puede soportar por más tiempo la terrible destrucción que azota al planeta. Entregó 5 anillos mágicos a 5 jóvenes especiales. Juan, de África, con el poder de la Tierra. De Norteamérica, Wheeler, con el poder del fuego. De Rusia, Linka, con el poder del viento. De Asia, Guy, con el poder del agua. Y de América del Sur, Mati, con el poder del corazón. Cuando los 5 poderes se combinan, hacen aparecer al campeón de la Tierra, el Capitán Planeta.
¡Vamos, planeta!
El poder es suyo. El Capitán Planeta y los planetarios.
¡Tierra! ¡Fuego! ¡Viento!
Here we go.
¡Corazón! ¡Adelante, planetarios!
Por sus poderes reunidos, yo soy el Capitán Planeta.
Capitán Planeta, planetarios, destruirán a
Yeah, no, this
todos
is
los villanos.
Not what I expected.
Sus poderes unirán y al planeta Tierra
She is committed.
salvarán. Capitán Planeta, planetarios, destruirán a todos los villanos. Doctor Plaga, Otto Famoso, contaminarlo quieren todos.
Pagarás por esto, Capitán Planeta.
¡Somos planetarios! ¡No más destrucción! ¡Salvar al mundo entero es nuestra misión!
Oh. Okay, so this isn't the version that David had heard. And either way, that was enjoyable.
It was. I like that. Yeah.
Let me scroll back up here. Mylerk had a good point. 47 good people. Yes, 47 good people. We must secure the existence of working people and a future for the proletariat. No disagreement there. Mylerk, I get the feeling that a new cartoon in that style would easily get snatched up in the green capitalism spectacle, but those values should definitely be pushed more often. I think you're probably dead accurate on that. You'd have like a fucking green NBC Peacock logo in the corner, and it would be sponsored by GE and Boeing or something.
Yeah. But that being said, it would be cool if we could get more leftist cartoons out there, because cartoons are a very persuasive medium, I think.
What's my view? Oh God, what's my view on the 2020 election? It happened. Was that the answer you were looking for?
It did.
It happened. Some people got what they wanted. Other people didn't get what they wanted. That pretty much is par for the course for elections. I did see an interesting statistic out of a poll. Not a huge N, just under 2,000, but it was a nationwide. 64% were voting against Trump, not for Biden. Let's see. Curio question. What's your view on bonk stick for the head? It's funny.
What is bonk stick for the head? What does that mean?
He's riffing off though. What's your view on the election? You know, what's your view on for bonk stick for the head? It's funny how everything in Spanish seems more revolutionary than what it is. Let's see. No, Macer, David, that was nice. Yeah, Christina crying, laughing. It happened. Very different from the French version of the Planeteers and Captain Planet song. Jesus Christ. I mean, we forget about that shit as Americans, right? We ship this shit all over the world.
Yeah, it's true.
We syndicate. Bonk stick is great, says Pastique. Let's see. Ace. Okay. So Curio asked, "Are you pro or anti clitoris?" Ace and Christina both saying pro. Curio is going on the record as being pro as well. You can look it up.
I'll say I'm pro. Yeah.
Kaiser, what's your view on fuckbots? Because we were talking about fuckbots earlier in the stream, like legitimately. We're talking about, like, you know, somebody had asked something about the future concerning AI development, robotics and AI development if the U.S. and Japan cooperated, and I was like, fuck bots, lots and lots of fuck bots.
Oh my goodness. But that does call into question some interesting, like, you know, moral qualities.
There's definitely an entire field of developing ethics surrounding that, especially when you bring into the fact that, you know, at what point is a machine sentient? And, you know, now...
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
I do have a very particular stance when it comes to that, personally. So, yeah.
We're going to get into that because Two Rabbits first would like to know what your stance on fuckbots is.
I'm pro, you know, anything to fuck, so long as it's, like, you know, consensual, if that's applicable, you know. If there's no consent to be necessary to, you know, think about in terms of, like, you know, an inanimate object, then that's cool. But, you know, once an AI becomes, you know, a conscious being, a conscious entity, then consent has to be, you know, a part of the equation, as far as I'm concerned.
You know, we won't, I mean... You know, we won't recognize them as sentient beings for a very long time if it happened. I mean,
well, I will immediately as soon as it happens.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing, is society at large drug its feet on indigenous people, on women, on black people, on so I know, but like I can only imagine what the deal with the robots will be. Look forward to your robot uprising.
It's just a different flavor of the same thing. It's not.
Oh no, I agree with you. I'm just saying society is not going to agree with you.
Well, I'm gonna fight for him anyway. You know, yeah.
I forget who put it earlier. Was that you, Kaiser? I for one welcome our robot overlord fuckbots.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
Let's see. They make so many shows and movies based on that and the development of AI and potential humanity behind it, etc. Says Ace. Yeah. Let's see. I keep bringing up watching Next. Fuckbots are the least of our problems. Tam, nobody's seen it. Have you seen this show Next?
It sounds familiar. I don't know if I have though. What is it about?
It's some like future generation AI that gets loose and cybersecurity homeland security cyber division has to like deal with it and something along those lines.
I think I saw there was a British version of it, if I'm not mistaken. In any case, I think I've seen episodes of this show. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. It's a good show. Yeah. They're basically indentured. No, they're slaves in this show, you know, and they are conscious beings.
Let's see. Ace, shit. Y'all thought black people lost it. There we go. Y'all thought black people y'all thought black people thought to be seen as equal for long and still fighting. Robots will be 10 times longer. Yes, that's what I'm saying. We will. We fought black people to be seen as equal. Pastique pointing out that creepy bot from Qatar, or for Qatar, and how they gave it citizenship.
I've not heard about this. Yeah.
Mylark, we've already got the phenomenon of hikikomori and parasocial relationships. It'll only be a matter of time until people start whining about politicizing fuckbots, to be honest. And
politicizing, what does politicizing mean there exactly?
Oh, no, it's like gamer. It's that gamer TM shit, like, transgender representation, stop politicizing our game. Stop politicizing my fuckbot. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Me, Trey, I'm on record as being anti-clitoris. Deep cut. Rabbit. Yeah, Pastique. So if that bot is genuinely sentient, we're already not recognizing it. I think the robots will have one advantage. Robot riots will be much less squeamish about casualties. That they would.
This is true.
If sentient robots, robot president when? Let's see. On record, I can find. Not sure. AI intelligence multiplies exponentially based on real-world application. Is the sort of like summary for that next show.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Tam brought it up a couple of times, and like people, like, has anybody in chat seen it? Nope. There's only so many hours in the day, and there's so much content.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah, for sure.
And quite frankly, I'm still working through the Nerd Cubed Many a True Nerd road trip from 2 years ago. So.
Not even familiar with that.
Gaming, gaming YouTubers.
That's the other thing. Gaming YouTubers. Okay, that's the other thing, is that there's so much content that you can't even be aware of all of it. At least me. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, exactly. Tam, no worries. It's now it's on the list. It's something I got to keep an eye out for. And I like I like cyberpunk and dystopian sort of stuff. So thank you for bringing it to my attention, dude. It's one of the best side effects of running streams is that I get people from all across the globe, all walks of life, all sorts of perspectives and outlooks, and they all have sort of recommendations. Hey, have you heard this song? Have you read this book? Have you seen this TV show? And, as you said, I wouldn't have even known about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Discord's the same way. There's a lot of people who just are really happy to recommend some of oftentimes it's like their favorite thing as well. And so it's, it's very often good quality recommendations, so yeah.
Yeah, but not, I think you meant, but not all content's equal and how interesting they are. Pastique, yeah, not equal. There's the, no, but I mean, that's par for the course.
Sorry, I just played Curio.
Oh, Curio. Are you streaming tonight, Curio? Because I'm going to have to take something for a headache and then fucking see what I feel like, but I'll stop by.
I'm actually going to probably head out. I just wanted to come by and tell you about that weird idea that I had. And thanks for, inspiring it as well. So, yeah.
Dude, I'm still not used to that shit, but thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're weird about that. Yeah,
it is. Well, you're fine. Yeah. You're fine. Don't censor yourself on my accord. It's just something I need to get more used to. When people do that, there was a few recently that were like, "Hey, can I incorporate some of your writing into my writing?" One of them said I couldn't have put it any better, and they're citing Marx and Bakunin and me. And I'm like, it's just fucking weird. It's weird. It's
cool, man. Yeah. It's cool as hell, because you got some great work, dude. I'm not even joking about it. Yeah.
So, I never knew how to take a compliment to start with. And so I'm trying to get better at it.
Yeah.
2 Rabbit, I bet you do. You put out some good content as well. 2 Rabbit, do you have your YouTube link handy? Drop that into chat. You should always have that handy, by the way.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a look. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll head out now. But
thanks for the update, and hope have a good weekend.
Thanks. You too. All right. See you
later. L from Discord, everyone. Camel, there is no dirtiness behind it. A meat tray is something that you can win in a pub raffle in Australia and the UK. There's 2 Rabbits YouTube channel. I just did. What am I caught on? There we go. Exactly, Christina. Exactly. Oh. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, the 69 is just, adolescent humor. But yeah, the meat tray thing is actually just a reference to a pub raffle. Sorry to step on your stuff. 5:05 a.m. in the morning here in Spain, and I'm awake just for you, man. Thank you, David. I should, you know what? What do you got? Why am I tired? Maybe it's the headache. Oh. Oh, he's. Tam, it's on the page. Hang on, I'll get it for you. It's on the stream page though. There you go, Tam. There's the archive. Why so much headache? I don't know. I just have a headache today. It's, you know, I do get headaches from time to time, and they probably go along with the autoimmune driven neuropathy. So yeah, but could be anything else. Who knows? I'm hydrated. God knows. You know what? Hang on. Give me 1 sec, actually. Oh. A little something to take the edge off of that. David, I have a physical condition that property is theft, freedom to all gardens. I have a condition in which my body is attacking itself. And part of what it's attacking is my small fiber nerves. So the nerves that allow you to like feel hot and cold and vibration and that sort of stuff. That's your small fiber nerves. And so I suffer from an autoimmune driven, my immune system is attacking. Progressive, it gets worse. Small fiber, neuropathy. The killing off of those nerve cells. There you go. Yeah. Thank you for the sympathy, David. It is a bitch. Oh, Cobbs, community gardens, guerrilla gardening. Fuck the community gardens. Just start guerrilla gardening out there. Depending on what growing zone you're in, you can grow some shit. Demian, it's not directly related to fibromyalgia, but it is in effect sometimes similar. Different systems, different actions, but a distant cousin. Let's put it that way. A distant cousin. Yeah, Cobbs, we should definitely be doing more, community gardens and, like I said, guerrilla gardening if you can't get the fucking spaces for it. Peter Kropotkin tail. Is it a rare disease? It's I mean, not exceedingly rare, but not really that common. It tends to be set off by a viral infection, or some sort of other autoimmune triggered incident. It can be acute or it can be chronic. Mine is chronic. The one that most people are familiar with that would be acute would be Guillain-Barré. So, there you go. It's a motherfucker, though. Let's just put it that way. I'm never not in pain or discomfort of some kind. I have fibro. It's related to inflammation. It's okay, Tam. I can get it. I can usually bridge the gap. I mean, there's nothing really that helps with it. I mean, I don't know what avenue you're seeking. Yeah, pesty classifying autoimmune diseases it's fucking ridiculous. It's okay, Christina. I know it sucks. Some native friends made me a flag that's a rabbit sleeping on an ANCOM flag that says bunny flops for anarchy. Aw, that's a badass flag. Painkillers don't work for it. Demian, nerve pain is not affected by painkillers. Doesn't work for it. If you have actual nerve damage and pain derived from that, you can take all the opiates in the world, won't do a thing for it. So yeah, and the things that would actually affect it, I do not take due to the interactions and the long-term effects that they have. So I suffer rather than deal with the pharmacological side effects as well as the long-term potential side effects, especially in the form of like tricyclic antidepressants that they use for nerve pain more often than not. They have dementia-related problems later on. Gabapentin is another one of them. Tam, I feel better. Gabapentin just slows down the firing of the nerves. And so you can imagine how that can affect your cognitive processes. So I refrain from it as well. I feel better on anti-inflammation diet. So like an AIP sort of diet, Tam, but I often cheat. I do keto because it reduces the inflammatory markers. And yeah, okay, so yeah, like an AIP. Yeah, I do keto with sort of an AIP bent to it, in order to mitigate as much as I can on that front. And then I just get fucked up occasionally, right? Like kratom or kava, or weed from time to time, just to alleviate the mental stress of it. Right? There's nothing I can really do for the physical aspect of it. But I can check out mentally from time to time. And that is, that's what you need more than anything else. I take GABA. You think it could lead to dementia? Keto sounds great. GABA doesn't have a long-term dementia side effect. The tricyclic antidepressants that they prescribe for neuropathy and nerve pain in general do have a corollary to it. Gabapentin just has a tolerance issue and a buildup issue that eventually it does have a threshold where it seems to stop working for people. But some people it works fine for, but other people it doesn't do anything for. So this is very much know thyself and figure out what works for you. Brain fog is almost worse than the physical. Yeah, luckily I don't have too many of the mental symptoms. My small fiber neuropathy, the brain fog that comes with fibromyalgia, like you are familiar with, Tam, doesn't necessarily come with small fiber neuropathy. Mine is more physical sensations. Mine is pain. Mine is, burning. Mine is, these sorts of things. So yeah, it's head to toe. You can be on fire, like literally. Like turn on your hot water. Turn it on the hottest setting you can get it to. Get it nice and steaming, and then just stick your hand in there and hold it. Many times, that's what my hands and my feet and my legs or my face feel like. So yeah, mine is that. The fibromyalgia crew has a whole other set of whole other cluster of symptoms that they deal with. Cobs with the kratom helped so much with my back pain. Glad to hear that. It seems to do a lot for a lot of people. The part of managing pain is sometimes inherent to all chronic pain afflictions. Demian, kratom, although it can have opiate side effects like constipation. Plastique, pain management is a territory of medicine that we're still not, we ain't that good at. Amen. Especially nervous system. Anything having to do with the nervous system, we suck at. Kaiser, I like using gabapentin with my Ritalin. It helps with the anxiety caused by Ritalin and enhances the stimulation. I'd imagine. I've heard the abuse potential for gabapentin is rather high these days. Sort of escalated after the opioid crisis as well, because a lot of people got cut off from their opiates, and the industry started relying more heavily on things like gabapentin and Neurontin and stuff like that. Would help if pain research wasn't such a clusterfuck of sample bias. 2 rabbits. Moshing, that sounds not fun. No, it isn't. It really isn't. But this is why I do what I do, right? This is why I talk to people about politics online. This is my form of activism. I can't be out in the street the same way I used to. I can't be having conversations with random people in the middle of a protest. I can't be doing, that sort of stuff. So I do this instead. Yeah. Carbs. Creatinine could definitely be strong if you have no tolerance to opioids, but I'm an ex-painkiller addict, so my tolerance is high. Yeah, I use an enhanced version from a supplier in California that uses whole leaf and extract mixed into a single batch, and I make a fairly potent version of it when I use it. I tend not to use the Kratom as often as I like to use the Kava these days, but the Kava is terrible. For those of you who have never tasted Kava, oh my God, this stuff is awful, but it works. If you need a little checkout, look into it. Pastique, I hope it'll never happen to me. I'm allergic to different painkillers. Dude, allergy medications are a motherfucker. You like the mouth numbness of Kava, to be honest. I don't, take it or leave it. It really doesn't do shit for me one way or the other. It's just, my tongue's numb now. But, the benzo-like effect of Kava, that's what I'm here for. Let's see, Mylark, that sounds super fucked. The only pain I really have to deal with is leg muscle cramps while sleeping. Yeah. And one of the fun side effects is anything that boosts my immune system, like exercise, causes a flare in my neuropathy. And it's not just adverse, okay, so if my hand is burning or if my hand is tingling or something like that, it's not just the fact that, when I'm mid-flare, there's actual nerve damage being done, right? It's not just that, my hand burns and then maybe it won't. No, that's actual damage being done to those nerve endings. And so every little bit of a flare is permanent to one degree or another. And so anything that boosts your immune system will actually cause a bit of a flare. So I have an exercise intolerance to boot. I used to love running. I was super active. And all that sort of goes out the window with this sort of condition. It's a motherfucker. Let's see. Pastique, swimming's a bit much. I don't care, David. Honestly, I don't mind talking about, my disability and how I suffer. It doesn't, it's a bit cathartic as well. But maybe you want to change the topic. Can you explain to a socialist communist who believes anarchy is great in small societies how to implement it in big countries? Using federation. Oops. This is how I would explain it to them, David. I would do it in essay form, and I would start with anarcho-syndicalism, because most people don't understand how to address the scope and scale issues with anarchism. And I think syndicalism is a good foot in the door for people who are to the right. So socialist, communist, they're going to be looking at the syndicalist aspect of that essay as too far to the right for them. But it addresses the federation, the delegation, the scope and scale issues that you're going to have with the larger implementation thereof. And it's not by any means, remember, it's a 101 essay. It's not going to hey, here's how you write your new constitution. But it is going to cover that for you. So yeah, I hope that helps. And by the way, all my stuff is licensed under Creative Commons. Feel free to use it Just give me an attribution. Do we want big countries at the other end of anarchist work? No. Not really. Two rabbits. I think we've proven at this point how fucked up large nation states are. It's like giant banking conglomerates. It potentiates too many negatives to counteract the potential of the positives, in my opinion, at least. And so I would say that, no, you really don't want that. You would prefer not to. But again, as Elle and I were talking about earlier, and as I hammer home all the time, that end state versus where we are now, there's a whole world of progress that has to be made in between here and there. So end state, no, but middle, there's no way around it. We need them for the social welfare programs. We need them for, at least in the interim. I'd love to get to a point where solidarity, municipal, state, county sort of mutual aid networks could do a lot of the sort of light to middle lifting and leave some of the heavier lifting to, of course, the larger federated group of states. But we're not there yet. We still can't even get each other's backs in a fucking protest. So, hey, Jack. What sport can you do? Actually, I don't do sports proper anymore, Pastique. I do like light, a lot of walking, and like Qigong Tai Chi sort of territory, just to keep things moving and keep the cardiovascular system intact. But no. How is Medicare during our days? Are you in America? Yes, I'm in America. Darts. I could do darts. I don't know what you mean by how is Medicare during our days, though. Pool, I haven't played in years, but I could. I don't consider these sports, though. Do you believe that we should keep to our own business instead of getting into other countries, like, let's say, the Guatemala coup or something like that? Yeah. Look, we shouldn't be isolationist, but we shouldn't be interventionist either. But as a people, and by people I mean I don't mean American, I mean human beings. As a people, we need to come to the point and realize that eventually we're going to have to talk about the end of the nation state. That conversation is always in the future. But we need to accept that, in an era where this is my infamous example around these parts, in an era where I can take a picture and send a dick pic to some random email address in India, and some dude can open it up and just get a shot of my dick in like 28 milliseconds. That world is too small for this concept of all of these subdivided areas and borders and nation states. We are a global community, and we're going to accept that. Yeah, exactly, Kat. This world is too small for my dick. We need to accept that it is that sort of situation, as it were. And, there will come a day when we have to address that. And I think it's getting more and more pressing. A lot of the immigration issues you're finding around the world are a knock-on effect of this phenomenon, of the world being a lot smaller than it used to be. Everything's easier to understand with dick examples. I never thought of it that way. I don't understand that quite well. You don't have to use another example. Can you say that again? I think you were comparing different mindsets. Should we keep to our own business instead of getting into other countries, like, say, the Guatemalan coup? We should not be isolationist, but we should not be interventionist either. Okay? So this answers your question directly, right? So if there's trouble, we should be here to help. but we should not go seeking out trouble. Okay, so there's that. But then the dick pic thing is about the fact that eventually you're going to have to come to the terms that you're going to have to come to terms with the idea that the idea of America and Guatemala are silly. That the idea of artificial borders is a silly idea. And while it may have served a purpose at one point or another, and still to a certain extent, there is coming a day very fast in our future where they will no longer serve those purposes. And globalization and high technology and the internet are very quickly dissolving those reasons for being. And so that is what the dick pic thing is about. Don't be Reagan. We don't want more Reagans in the world. Nobody needs more Reagans. Nobody needs more Gillet. Need to read some Gillet. America. Exactly, David. DeKalb's down with the nation state, baby. That is true. That is true. We colloquially claim all of the Americas. Although, David, these days I refer to the whole block not as America, but as Turtle Island, as adopted from Lost Sioux and the indigenous term for this landmass. They named it first. As far as I'm concerned, that's how it works. Oh, Lord. Reagan. God. Fucking. Oh, my God. Thank you. Take language learning, for example. Everyone can learn a language to a really depth degree within 6 to 9 months. That alone shatters a huge part of the border issue. He was worse than a lot of Republicans praise him for no, I'm not a Baudrillard kind of guy. Forgive my French. I have shit French pronunciations, infamously. Was working on Dutch last night. Oh, hang on. We're just going to do another random Dutch one. Hang on.
Is niet van de village people.
I have a Dutch soundboard now. Let's see. Meyerwerk responding. The main issue is that prefigurative politics says that we ought to be willing to provide education, but people should be willing to be willing and ready to lead themselves. Jesus Christ. It's 10 minutes short of 3 hours. Feels like it's been a lot longer. America, home of the drive-thrus and mall every 5 miles. Oh, my God. I don't know if you've ever heard the George Carlin bit on mini malls and strip malls and mini malls and big malls and, that. One giant coast-to-coast mall. They are, Deadeye. They are. Why? Yeah, I was just remember. Camel, let me help you out. Prefigurative politics is basically just the format or shape that the group wants politics to take. There's a whole lot more behind it than just that, but I'll get you across that hump. Prefigurative politics is essentially the shape of politics that the group involved in politics wants it to be. David, I doubt it, quite frankly. This feels like a familiar type of headache to me. It's not. I don't think it's from streaming. I don't think it's from sitting in front of a computer. But thank you for the concern. I adore that my community cares about me. It's fucking weird, but I love it. Carlin was wonderful. Yes, he was. I miss old Uncle George. People complain about pronunciation because they either don't want to work when in a position of power. George Carlin was great when he talked about Christianity. Macer. Camel. I loved when he addressed his going to Mars. Yes. And Gore Vidal. I work. They seem pretty based, but I need to actually break into their politics seriously. Their critiques are both adopted by various post-left and post-structuralist anarchists. If you need an intro, look up Plastic Pills on YouTube. What's your vision about religions? Do your own thing. Stop with the organized bullshit. It always becomes a problem inevitably. I mean, that's as near as I can tell. I mean, every time it seems human beings organize their religion into some sort of hierarchical system, bad shit happens en masse. Numbers that are terrifying sort of situation. Taken individually, there's some fabulous things that have been accomplished. Lives have been turned around, but yeah. Let's see. I can live with dead malls. I'm more concerned in the small shop dying. Fuck yeah. Pastique. Main Street's already dead, though. Walmart killed it. And then Amazon fucking hammered that death nail. Let's see. Well, death knell. Last nail on the coffin. Sorry. Conflating two entirely different idioms. Love to remove them, but I don't know how to do it. Oh, don't worry. They were here before you. They'll be here after you. I didn't find any difference between religious and sex. Sorry. No, you won't find any difference between religions and cults. That's the thing. As near as the only... I think it was Pastique, right? Like this, you agreed with me, Pastique, on this one, that the only difference between a religion and a cult is their marketing department. One of them was accepted as a religion, and the other was it wasn't accepted. Yeah, a religion's a cult that succeeded. There really isn't a difference, substantially at least, or substantively. Yeah, cults, that's a word. All right. Bits of religion are okay, but overall it's a murder club, so fuck it. It's dead in the USA and still trying to survive in Europe, but COVID is nailing the coffin. Of course it is. Religion. I'm not quite sold on globalism. It has too much power, potential for a worldwide dictatorship. And then what philosophy will globalism be based on that everyone will agree to? Oh, no, Tam. Every single thing humanity has ever done has the potential to basically destroy us, as well as free us. This is the history of all humanity, right? It doesn't matter if we're talking about fire or knives or guns or electricity or... It doesn't matter. It all has this weird downside. Yeah, we can build a skyscraper, but if we don't build it correctly, the shit can fall down and kill thousands of people. Right? Like this is the history of humanity writ large. So yeah, globalism has the capacity to do more damage because of the expansion that it has, by its very expansive nature. But we're headed that way one way or the other. We already know. The trajectory is set. There's no way around it. International shipping is not going away. The global connected economy is not going away. The internet is not going away. So we need to find a way to shape it and influence it in a way that will ensure at least some level of egalitarian philosophy be included, at least in some corner of the globe, so we can make sure it survives. In Anthro, the term cult is used almost exclusively as a metric of size. A religion is a cult that isn't large enough yet. So success. Yeah, success is the measure. A cult is religion that isn't big enough yet. Yeah. Kaiser, I want to start a cult. I've looked into starting religions numerous times in the U.S. actually, legally. right? Because I am infamously an ordained minister. But, you know, yeah, like actually having a church as a scam. I mean, that's how I looked at it. I'm fine with religion. I do not agree with what it teaches, which is dangerous ideas of acceptance and, of course, hatred to the funding nuts. I'm basically fine if one chooses to interpret the Bible in a socially acceptable way. Otherwise, no sense in being a major hypocrite. I can live with that. I mean, the truth of the matter is you know what the universal religion should be for humanity? Try not to be a cunt and harm people. Right? Like this is, don't be a dick. And try not to harm people. This is the best we can really hope for at this point. All the other stuff is fluff. Just do the best you can. Try to be a little less of an asshole tomorrow and try not to harm people. Christina, I'd go to the church if try not to be a cunt. Cult and religion as also an important meaning. Legally, you'll probably be observed by French government if you're considered a cult, but not if you're a religion. One of my friends grew up on a Wiccan commune. I had a friend in high school who she and her mother were Wiccans. Anti-cuntism. There you go. Take it and be free, my children. It's always creeped me out the way the fucking religious people, my children, my sheep. Jesus Christ. Talk about giving it all away in your language. Pestique, it's called Antifa. Yeah. I tried Wicca once. I was apparently bad at it. I never got into it. I just, you know, like I said, I had a friend, she and her mom were both Wiccans. Like, she was brought up Wiccan because her mother was Wiccan. This message goes out to Christopher Columbus, all the popes, and all the deranged governmental leaders. Yeah, exactly. Try not to be a cunt. She makes a transhumanist AI anarchist religion based on worship of the mighty AI. What just happened there? Oh, you know what? It's, no, let's do that. We'll see where that lands. I'm agnostic. I tried the cross once, but they told me it was not supposed to be used for that purpose. I'm agnostic, but I pretend to believe in the flying spaghetti monster. I am agnostic as well, by the way. That's if you had to plot me on some sort of religious spectrum. I'm firmly agnostic. Anybody who tells you they know the nature of existence is a lying, psychotic asshole. Used to throw stones with a rubber band in case you had the wrong idea. Wasn't exactly sure how you used it. To be perfectly honest, Pistique. I think I've heard this before. Oh. All right, so let me catch up here. Demian, that's the chief feature of Patriots. They failed the don't be an asshole test. I'm telling you, it's all you need. It's all you need. Just try not to be an asshole. Man, why do you have to have an autoimmune disease when you could have been a good senator or something? I wouldn't have been good at it, Camel. That's the problem. Is that anarchists don't make those sorts of good positions because I would speak truth to power. Or I'd be forced to sell out. But, I mean, that's... like, I mean, they really... Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Yeah, you're kind of cool. Fuck you. You know, that sort of thing. Hey, Dr. Socialism. I have a headache. We're working on that. Yes, I know it's Yuri. So let me scroll back. thoughts on the Frankfurt School? Not really. I mean, there's too much like psychoanalysis. Like there's too much Freudianism and like Hegelian dialectics in there for me to have ever dove into it very much. I mean, it's like what, Freud, Hegel, Marx with like an idealistic bent to it, which is weird when you consider the Marxist aspect of like historical materialism. I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently on it, other than like my very cursory knowledge of the Frankfurt School, Finn. So, yeah. Sorry I couldn't go into depth with that. Policy confuses the shit out of me, to be honest. Yeah, and that's why you have a staff, Kat. It's largely why they have staff. Do unto others, live and let live. Help your neighbor, forgive, throw away the rest. That's solid, Tam. That's solid. Shit confused the police. Socialism, thank you. Huey P. Long, yeah, no. Vodka is gross, but I agree with the first part. Yeah, Louis was Louisiana, right? He went after Standard Oil. He was a bit based. Okay, so the left side's a little tighter than the right. Let's see. That I mean, Dr. Socialism is a fascinating fellow, shall we say. A kind, a gentleman and a scholar. Jesus Christ, if I was a woman, I would fuck him. It is true, David. By the way, I've given up. People, look, I'll tell you not to, David, and it still stands. Give it to charity, spend it on a loved one, give it to a homeless person. All of that stands. But I've also given up trying to tell people to not. As of last night, somebody actually donated the bit limit that I set. So today I set it back down to 100 bits because people are going to not do what I say in that regard. So I might as well just remove the barrier to entry, I suppose, and route the money where I think it could be used best. I didn't know Huey Newton was named after Huey Long Kaiser. That is a fun little factoid. A little bit of trivia. I like that. Thank you, David. Stupid question. You don't have to answer, but what does your partner do for a living? He handles organizational and managerial tasks for coordinating IT projects. Yeah, let's just, I think that's probably the best job description. He's an IT manager, but for consultancy travel gigs. Yes, Christina, feminine products should be free, and Scotland made them free. Scotland's the first country on the planet to do it. Yeah. Yep, that's what he is. Yeah, good for Scotland. I mean, you know, yeah, first country on the fucking globe to make all period products free. They're covered. I don't know exactly. I think they're going to roll it out under like healthcare or something. I don't understand. I haven't looked into how they're doing it. Kaiser. Okay, that makes sense. You should have heard the debate on making them a first necessity product in France 3 years ago. It was shameful. Scotland, the list of inventions and creations and stuff that has come out of Scotland, Camel, is long and impressive. It really is. Pedal bicycle, the pneumatic tire, the overhead valve, fucking multiple aircraft designs, condensing steam engine, thermodynamic cycle, coal gas lighting, the Stirling heat engine, carbon brushes. I mean, wave-powered electricity generator. This list is a mile long. It really is. This just keeps going and going and going. Discovery of the noble gases. I mean, honestly. Yeah, the Scottish inventions and discoveries list is really fucking impressive. Hey, Panda. I mean, you missed some stuff, but, you know, nothing that's, like, makes me want to bang my head into the desk for the rest of the night. So that's good, at least. Camel, I feel you on that one. I infamously around these parts, by age 19, I'd visited all 48 contiguous states. So, you know, yeah, I love Louisiana a lot. Might be my favorite state, but politically, goddamn almighty, it needs a switch around. It's not my favorite state by a long shot, but it's definitely worth going. You think the U.S. will ever do something like that? Are we too capitalist to even go a little bit socialist? Not even just socialist, just caring genuinely about our own people? No, we won't do that. The best you can hope for, probably in your lifetime, without some like drastic political changes, Doc, is like tax status, like maybe tax-free menstrual products. Like, hey, you don't have to pay a sales tax on your tampons. That's probably the best you could hope for in at least the foreseeable future in the United States. Yep, Germans are amazing too. Yep, they were at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Seriously, you can look up, here, I'll even, like, this is, maybe. There you go. If anybody wants to look at it, it's an impressive list. It really is. Talking about novelties. No, actually, I'm talking about some of the smaller towns. I had a family that liked to drive through places. So. I've been around the cities around New Orleans, and I still love it. And then again, it was raining. That helped it feel homey. God, I miss rain. Living in Las Vegas, I miss rain. I miss rain. I really do. France are falsely not proud on the topic, like they're snobbish with nothing to prove to anyone. Doc, it's sad because the United States sees socialism and communism as such a bad area of living, but when people go out and ask Russians living in different areas, it's like 3 in 5 people literally say they were better off in the Union. I've seen some of those interviews, by the way, that you sort of offhandedly referencing. I've seen a few of those, talking to some of the old-timers about what was it like. They have fond memories. They really do. Sad that we can't get our fucking heads out of our asses. Good luck with that. Moshing, for how fast we develop and grow, it's spectacular how slow we've become to adapt. Here's the paradox of the dynamism of humanity, Moshing. We can adapt to anything, including intolerable conditions. And it's that adaptive nature towards intolerable conditions that has led us down this path. Enjoy, Bastique. I like the sound, Christine. I love the sound. And the fact that society seems to, like, calm down when it's raining. Yeah. Yeah. Makes one sleepy. Greenery. Crazy to me because the western side of the world just made it seem like so much worse, but the people living there seemed as though they were better than they were when the Federation got formed. I feel bad for them, sort of. They lived a perfect life and got fucked over in the end. That's the way it works. Yeah, there's some irony in that. Yeah, you could say just a touch, right? Just a touch. Because they are cleaner after a rainstorm. Not to mention all the people who died and went homeless when the Union fell. You know, as they do. Collapsing governments are not usually good for anyone, quite frankly. It's those sorts of periods, that sort of vacuum moment in societies always causes so many problems. And I mean, this is why I'm not a revolutionary. This is why I'm not an insurrectionist, fundamentally. Why I am a reformist, why I'm an incrementalist, is because I see the harm that's caused universally throughout history in those moments. And I wouldn't wish that on really anybody. Yes, we are talking about Russia, Cameron. Doc, I always try to imagine America as a union. The country would shit itself and we'd probably have riots daily, but I bet the government could be interesting. Whatever this is, I hate it. Oh, you know what? Can I go back to that and, like, download it so that doesn't happen again? Jesus. Sleep well, David. Thank you. Always lovely to see you, David. Give me. The U.S. would benefit from a program where all high school graduates have to spend a year overseas helping local communities. I don't really care if they have to fucking help. I just want them to get out of the fucking United States and experience something that isn't this. That alone would be a huge boon to our social fabric. Just like, hey, I spent a fucking semester here and I learned that the U.S. isn't the best country in the world. That actually there's other countries that have some really fucking good ideas. So, yeah, just getting them fucking out of this country for a little bit would be useful. Catch you later, too, Rabbit. Yeah, Christina, it isn't? Hang on, I want to check something really fast. Oh, that motherfucker ain't on yet. God damn it. Curio, you still here? What time is it there? 9. Somebody tell Curio to go on. rogue all of Europe. Like, you remember the immigration crises that all of the European nation states were having? That there were people literally flooding their borders trying to evacuate out of North Africa. People were dying in the Mediterranean Sea. It's been happening for a few years now. Like, a bunch. So we're not alone in that. By a long shot. Is that your flag now, Kaiser? You've adopted it? You fly in that one? Love it. No, they have no other option. It's get bombed by the despotic regime that was propped up by Western powers, or flee and go to those Western nations and work menial jobs under the table and risk your life trying to get there. Finn. Oh, wait, hang on. I need to scroll up a ways. Doc. I definitely love to see forced studying abroad and such. Jesus, a lot of Americans are fucking entitled and think that the United States is the grand supreme country and the only revolutionary democracy in the world. I'd love to see them transport some conservatives to rural Mexico so they can see not everyone are rapists and murderers. Dude, Doc, like I said, just get these fuckers out of this country a bit. Ace, would you listen to Kai while pretending to watch Dora the movie with your kids? Dude, I'll talk about Dora one of these days. Probably get this question a lot, and you already kind of touched on it, but do you think capital is escapable, and if so, how? I do think it's escapable, not at this current moment. The escape velocity has not been reached, as it were, Finn. But much like people thought there was no escaping feudalism, and then there was constitutional monarchism lying beyond it, there is something lying beyond the current form of virulent, predatory capitalism under sort of neoliberal principles that we have. It's an inevitability. It just is. History and humanity teaches us this very principle. And any student of even surface level history understands that this will not be the end state. It just won't. Unless we destroy ourselves completely, in which maybe it will be the end state, which capitalism holds the potential to do. I spent 6 months in post-Ceausescu Romania and came back realizing how spoiled Americans are. Imagine that, Tam. Imagine that. Little perspective, right? It's amazing how that works. My flag will have Antifa colors and a baguette. Communist China. You're adorable. Hey. Yeah, sorry about that, Rich. Blocked, purged, reported to the safety team over at Discord. Not much I can do about the alerts that went out, though. Search doc, let's see. Alright. Communism is when more billionaires, and the more billionaires, the communister it is. Love it. My family's upper middle class on the coast of South Florida. They're mostly GOP supporters. Standard. Communism or die trying. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And stop sending them to goddamn Cancun. Yeah, Cancun doesn't count. That is true. Wait, which this is supposed to be happy. Let's do chill. Camel. Okay. Quick meme. What do we got?
Socialism is when the government does stuff. And it's more socialism the more stuff it does. And if it does a real lot of stuff, it's communism.
Love it, Cobbs. There's a clip somebody made of me explaining, it was Kat who made that clip. I know it was. My channel. Rare footage, Richard Wolff explains the flaws of capitalism to the masses. Love the titles, by the way, Kat. You, brown guy, not person. You, random, weird, organizational, legal construct. Person. I like that clip. I really do. Super Stalin saves mankind once again. Oh. Oh. Thank you, Doc. All right, so Doc, I want to switch brains with conservatives for a day. Somehow they have somewhat higher grades in school, but worse and shittier logic when it comes to human rights. I would want to see a study on that, quite frankly. The economy, healthcare, and anything that has to do with giving and receiving. There's actually, hey, Humdinger Man, is live. Oh, goddamn you, Curia. All right, fine. There's actually, there's a limbic feedback response that's been studied using fMRIs and conservative, like, volunteers, and the fear response is generally in a bit of a feedback loop within the conservative mindset. So there is actually a physiological explanation. It's not known whether it presupposes or whether it is caused by. But there's definitely a physiological feedback loop between conservative ideology and the limbic response in the brain. And this has been studied fairly extensively, as I said, using fMRIs. So there is something to the idea that conservative voters or conservative ideologues tend to exhibit more fear or distrust towards the other. All right. So what are we looking at? So talking about French police last time, a new video appeared. Oh, I saw that, Pastique. I saw that. And isn't the cop already under arrest? I do believe I saw... Yeah, no, the French police officers are in custody after the video. Yeah, the video of the beating. Yeah. So the cops involved in that are actually under arrest, which is, I mean, compared to the U.S., it's amazing that that happened that quickly. They waited 4 days. Hey, like I said, in this part of the world, they arrested them. That's amazing. Oh, you doing the, sorry, the US to rubles conversions, I see. If the video hadn't gone on national TV, then they wouldn't have. Yeah. Yeah, here's I mean, if anybody wants it, here's an NPR article about it. Even when faced with the craziest illogical information, though, and a lack of an open mind in regards to that. I mean, we had climate change ignored. They went with that. Trump said, despite what the doctors were saying. Yeah. Cognitive dissonance is a motherfucker, Camel. You really have to, like, that's something every American needs to come to terms with on a very base level. You'd be amazed contradictory opinions that people can hold. You're like, but you believe that. Yeah, and? They're perfectly comfortable holding two disparate opinions at the same time. Human beings are good like that. There's still more than a month process before the law gets voted. That'll be interesting to watch. Okay, so Article 24 has or hasn't passed. Like that's still possible to knock that one down. Because that's a troublesome law if there ever was. I thought I had seen it had moved forward, but I'm hazy right now. Not all human beings are good like that. You'd be amazed what human beings can do. Within each and every human being lies the capacity to be a demon and an angel. Simultaneously sometimes. It's passed with amendment that makes it inoperant, so the Constitutional Council might have stopped the law. Good on you, fucking France. Good on them. Hello, Kinsey. We're just I'm just sort of burning time until one of my buddies comes online for his stream, and then we're gonna raid over there. Yes, Camel. Essentially so. It's a little more complicated than that, but yeah.
Вы ненавидите американцев, потому что они злые капиталисты, это верно?
Да нет, а чего вы? Тут самое главное, что есть американцы.
Whose video is this? 1420. All right. I think I can play this without too much concern. So let's do that.
Вы ненавидите американцев, потому что они злые капиталисты, это верно?
Да нет, а чего вы? Тут самое главное, что есть американцы, а есть всякие Трампы и прочие товарищи. Так вот, американцев я уважаю и люблю, а вот их правительство как-то что-то как-то не очень.
Ну, смотрите, я вообще не шарю в коммунизме. Можете объяснить в двух словах, что это такое?
Это когда ты отдаешь всю землю крестьянам, а ничего не зарабатываешь, и все живут хорошо, пенопласт молочный, люди 3 метра ростом, все довольны, войны нет, голода нет, дети рождаются сразу 18-летние и готовы работать на заводе.
Вы ненавидите американцев, потому что они злые капиталисты, это так?
Да. Нет, это просто другие люди, вот и все, другой менталитет у них. Они несколько веков воспитывались в капитализме, в этом есть свои минусы, есть свои плюсы, но ненавидеть мне не за что их.
Вот я вообще не разбираюсь в коммунизме, можете объяснить, что это такое?
Я абсолютно так же в нем не разбираюсь. Мне кажется, вот, знаете, Ленин, да, был. И похожее слово коммунизм, что такое, это все, что я знаю.
Что такое коммунизм?
Коммунизм, ну, насколько я знаю, в целом это хорошая идея. В том, чтобы люди не нуждались в деньгах и жили как в равноправии и трудились на благо друг друга. Но то, что мы знаем о коммунизме, да, это, наверное, худшее проявление.
А к северокорейцам?
Нормально. Боюсь просто сказать что-то, а то вдруг.
Какое у вас отношение к американцам?
У меня положительное ко всем. К американцам и не к американцам. И к местным.
А европейцев вы ненавидите? Потому что они злые капиталисты.
А европейцев тоже люблю. Всех капиталистов люблю. И капитализм это классно.
No, it's not true, absolutely. And honestly, I don't even have specific thoughts about American people. I just think they're absolutely the same people as we are.
Что такое коммунизм? Я вообще не разбираюсь, серьезно.
Ну, коммунизм это определенная, так сказать, структура государства, структура мышления. Вот, соответственно, в России это единственное место, где это удалось сделать на целых 70 лет. Но, как видите, это что-то как-то не прокатило.
В России добились коммунизма?
Ну, такое было ощущение, что добились, но в итоге...
При капитализме какие условия?
Хуже, безусловно. Да. Все общество потребления. Да. Ничего не принадлежит людям. Ужасно.
For me, communism is something...
I like that guy. I like that guy. And actually, let me go back to chat here because the fucking Doc dumped a bunch in here. Cobb saying, if I remember correctly, the Soviet Republic all voted to preserve the Union before it was destroyed anyway. Doc said, money ruins civilizations. I don't love the general idea of communism due to its past effects on countries from all over the world, but I think that taking away currency and making people into equals, stopping greed and the rise in hate because of social class, that's not something that should be debated on. We as humans are supposed to work together and unite. Not separate and hate due to certain conflicts that should not be of our own interests. You're an interesting dude, Doc. You're an interesting dude. Given the introduction on Curio's show as opposed to mine, you really are a dichotomous motherfucker, aren't you? I appreciate that about you. And yes, that was a well thought out, well phrased sentiment. I agree. Yeah. Hang on. Yes. Cool, we're gonna do this. We're gonna drop you down. You're getting along. What a novel idea. Well, you're gonna get your opportunity. Because what we're gonna do, because I've been on a fairly solo bent tonight. Elle stopped by for a little bit. But it is Friday, and why not have an early weekend if there ever was? How is he in there twice? Either way. You guys know the spiel by now. KaisThings.com, KAISThings.com. Catch all of my stuff there. FYI, this has been show number 200 for Proud Radical. I don't make a big deal out of that stuff usually, but hey. Started with podcasting, moved through live streaming on the Podbean network, and then on to Twitch, where it has been a thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to raid Curio, because Curio's on, and I want to raid Curio. So, everybody strap in. Curio is vaudevillian, let's just put it that way. Let me see if he's up yet. God damn it, Curio. He's still on his intro. Somebody go smack fucking, that's a good term, yeah. Vaudevillian. Yeah, somebody go fucking smack Curio. When was that he said he needed 20 minutes? Okay, 6 minutes is his 20-minute mark. Time to enter Yuri mode. Jimmy T fucks wife and hides in closet. Hey, yo, good night, Ancom. Those of you that want to stick around for the raid with Curio, by all means, it'll be in a few minutes. We'll hang out until we do that. Tell you what, yep, that's Curio. He ain't that urban, but he is where I go to decompress. Do a little jig until he's on. Yeah. He's something to say the least. Yeah, okay, that's fine, Rogue. Fulfilled. I don't know why he's on there, like, on my list twice. Alright. Me, Air. Alright. Chair stream. Fucking chair stream. There's a conveniently sized glass. That's a conveniently sized glass. Libby Restaurant Supply. I plug them all the fuck time. Don't worry. There's nothing behind the scenes. I just adore them. It is 24 ounces. And it is, I mean, you know, it's a piece of glass. So, yeah, you can get 12 of them for like $50. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to kick Curio's stream off with a fucking bang. He always has a slow wind up. We're going to help him have a fucking immediate wind up. All right, ladies, gents, and everything in between. I hope you stick around for the raid on the Obscure Curio. Look forward to a uplifting and weird ass time. 5 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Tuesday, Thursday, 11:30 p.m. Pacific. You guys know how to find me. I love you all. Catch you later.